Welcome back. After that horrible, I think personally horrible commentary video, in my opinion, it was just bad. But nevertheless, we're back again to shine the light on this worthless dog culture. Once again, trying to put a lot of dog hate on the airwaves, and allowing, and hopefully, to have these dog nuts think and question their dog nuttery. Just because they're dog nutters now and today and probably will be tomorrow doesn't mean in the next month or so they can't be cured from their dog nuttery. It is possible. But nevertheless, I was thinking, and the question came up: do dogs like hugs? And from the get go, we see to dogs, a hug is seen as a very dominant form of behavior. It feels like a stranger is trying to assert control over them. It can be quite stressful, especially if done by someone they're not familiar with. So all in all, they they didn't really say yes or no. They did not say yes or no. Um, and I think the reason why, again, they're playing both sides of the fence here. They're saying it can be stressful especially if done by someone they don't know. At the same time, they're saying that as long as you know the dog might be okay with it. Um, uh, and this sort says, let's see, do dogs like hugs? Most humans recognize hug as a sign of affection and friendship. Uh, of dog parents say their dog likes hugs too. Of dog parents, what the hell is that? And how do they know their dogs likes hugs? Like, can the dog confirm that? But how do dogs feel about them? Bring it in. We're going to try. Okay, this is annoying. We're going to. Oh, bring it in. We're going to try to get our arms around this question. Dogs don't like hugs. Boiler alert. Off the get go, dogs don't like hugs. Sure, some dogs enjoy a good canine cuddle, but usually only with their owner or household members. But we gotta realize, um, it's because of food. At the end of the day, it's because of food. You give food to the dog, you hug them. Give food to the dog, you hug them, give food. They associate food and hugging with each other. That's why strangers, especially with strangers, um, and hugging dogs, they just said that dogs don't like when unfamiliar people hug them. And reason for that, again, it goes back to feeding the worthless mutt. Hugging is too much of overflowing over is too much and overwhelming for many dogs, and should be discouraged if the dog doesn't know the individual very well. So, if it's overwhelming and this to these worthless mutts, why do a lot of these owners still do it? And at the same time, again, they're playing both sides of the fence. They're saying dogs don't like it, but it's okay if you know the dog well to hug it at the same time. Yeah, there's two reasons: four legs, verse 2, dominant behavior. Dogs do not communicate the way we communicate. They don't understand. Dogs do not understand our language unless you feed them. Unless you incorporate food with the behavior, then they're going to understand your behavior, what you're saying. Freedom. Since ancient dog days, canines' first instinct of line of defense has been to run away from danger. Not entirely true. A lot of times, these dogs will go towards the danger. For an example, fireworks. Outside, where do dogs go? They run outside. They see a real predator. What do dogs do? No, they bark and they approach the predator. There's a video on YouTube of this dog walking by a tiger. It's a sleeping tiger. The dog had all day to get away. Had so much time to get away, run away. But the dog saw the tiger first, stopped, turned towards the tiger, barks, and then the tiger destroys the dog. So this running away from danger is bullshit. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. But the only time they tend to run away from danger, usually only when a human, fires a gun warning, then they will tend to get the message. Or when a human uses physical force, they will get the message. Remember when you were a kid getting hugged by a loud great aunt you've never met at your dad's second cousin's wedding? That's kind of what your dog is. No, they're two different things. Two different things. Who is this? What are they doing? They want to escape too. They add, hugs are for humans, not dogs. Signs your dog does not like hugs. They say watch for trembling, try to get away, raise hackles, whites around their eyes. It's very important to pay attention to this behavior and respect it. So we're going to touch base on what they just said. They say pay attention to this behavior and respect it. We're gonna kind of scratch the surface on this statement. Alternatives to hugging your dog. So they say grope your dog. Take them on for walks. Play games with them. Give them food. Again, they put it there. Give them food. And this verbal nonsense. So this site says they don't like hugs. But at the same time, they're saying they don't like hugs from people who don't feed them, basically what they're saying. And this is from the American Kennel. This one was from the IAMS. This is from the American Kennel Club. Should you give your dog hugs? Okay, this thing's annoying. Go away. It's completely natural for humans to hug somebody to express affection, just as natural as dogs sniffing rare ends to say hello. It's disgusting. And we can't compare two different species in the way they greet each other. Various animals greet each other differently. So we from each other. So we can't compare humans to worthless mutts. Of course, people don't share dogs' love by snipping their behinds. I guarantee some do. Or human crotches. And to the same degree, dogs do not share our love of hugs. We speak different languages and use different behaviors to communicate. Misreading your dog and subjecting them to hugs can stress them and result in a bite. And they say loud and clear, dogs don't like hugs. And they say you're essentially trapping the worthless mutt and scaring them. They add, how do you know when your dog is uncomfortable? They say stiffness, head turned away, whale eye, lowered ears, tucked tail, yawns, nose licks, raised paws. Even though they said, dogs don't like hugs, but they're still promoting it. This is madness. Only in dog culture. The worthless mutt doesn't like hugs. But they're still going to say, teach your dog to tolerate it. For safety and help, prepare your dog for unexpected hugs from well-meaning strangers. Children, teach your dog to tolerate hugs. Can you believe this? This is critical if you want your dog to be a worthless therapy dog. With desensitizations, I can't pronounce it, and counter conditioning, you can change your dog's negative association with restraint to something more accepting. And again, they start with by using food. Got to use food. And just like I said, they associate food and hugs and food. You give them a hug, they get food. You give them a hug, they get food. And they associate that hug with food. This is why they say it's dangerous for unfamiliar faces to give them hugs. Because that person isn't giving them food. But you as the dog nut owner, you're always giving them food. So they're going to associate that, hey, you hug me, you give me food, and that's fine. And we're going to touch base on children that hug dogs, whatever. And they ask, again, we're going to try to figure out, like, what are the warning signs that a dog's going to attack? And here they say, do you know signs of stress in your dog? What are the signs my dog is stressed around children? They say, watch for uncomfortable yawning, blinking, lip licking. First signs that a dog might want to be left alone. Next, they may turn their head away, followed by turning their whole body. Walking away or crawling with their ears back, their tail tucked underneath are more serious signals. And they say, what if these signs are missed? Well, blame the victim, pretty much. We already know the deal. The thing bites, blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. Blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. Blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. That's pretty much the motto for these dog nuts. And already tips to reduce stress around dogs and children. Dogs like to sleep 12, 14 hours a day. Again, worthless mutts, guys. These are worthless. Creating a safe, quiet place for the dog, but thing is, these things like to bark and bother people all the time, but they don't want to respect our quiet place, but we got to respect theirs. That's how the game is. Games which hype dogs up, like repeated ball throwing, can be swapped with calmer. That's disgusting. So this thing, you're going to throw a ball, the thing's going to put the thing in its mouth, you're going to take the ball again, and that's disgusting. Disgusting. Yeah. And they add, finally the be a tree game is a great way for children to stay safe if approached by a strange dog. Many videos out there that I've seen that are on YouTube elsewhere, this tree thing doesn't work. It doesn't work. This just makes you an easier target for these worthless mutts. Any dog that approaches a child, they mean to attack it. They mean to attack it or kill it. Or they're just going to be begging for food. Because these things have no purpose, no reason to be approaching children. Like, why would they need to approach children? Why do these dogs need to approach children? For what reason? You're at the park, children are playing. Why does this dog need to approach children? 1, to attack. 2, for food. There is no reason behind it. And dogs need their own space and time, but dogs don't want to respect our space and time. So these things are allowed to approach children out of anywhere, and they just have to stand still. But all of a sudden, we got to respect their space and time. We got to respect their space and time. But these things are not respecting children's space and time. But if it invades, they just have to stand still. Just stand still and anticipate getting attacked. But don't worry. We're going to blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. We're going to blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. We're going to blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. So speaking of children, and hugs and warning signs. So what we got from those two sources, they don't like hugs, but dog nuts still continue to do it. Dog nuts continue to allow children to hug dogs like this or do this to dogs, knowing the risks. And when it does happen, blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. Blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. So, and they say, look for warning signs. Look for warning signs. Can this child, in the position that she's in, can she see the warning signs? Can she see the warning signs in time to avoid getting attacked? Her head is down. She doesn't see what the dog is doing. Her head is her. She's probably, maybe someone's over there doing something. Who knows? Her focus is down there. Her eyes might be closed. She can't see the warning signs. And if that thing attacks, we're going to blame her for this. When these dog nuts want this to happen. They want these pictures to happen. Little toddler. His eyes are closed. Can he see the warning signs? This is a toddler. A baby. Talking about having a toddler know the warning signs? Come on. But again, they'll still blame the victim. They'll blame the owner. And it's not the dog's fault. Parents, please teach your child that hugs are gifts only to be given to people, not dogs. But yet, we still see it on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere. Can this guy see the warning signs in time? He's focused here. All this dog has to do is look and snap. Can they see the warning signs? They don't know how the dog's facial expression. They're only looking forward. All this thing has to do is what? Put white in his eyes, turn around and snap. How about this one now? Same kid, but now he definitely cannot see the warning signs. He can't see the warning signs. Okay. Look at this. And honestly, this thing does not seem comfortable. But this person probably, forced and had the dog tolerate stuff like this. This thing does not seem comfortable. But they're going to do it anyways. They don't care for their well-being. Hey, I own you. I feed you. I'm going to hug you. That's what these people go through. That's what people think. Can this child see the warning signs? Head is this way. The dog head is that way. You can't see the warning signs. Whoever's taking the picture probably can't see the warning signs of the ears, of the eyes, or anything. All he has to do is turn around and bite. This thing does not look comfortable. Can he see the warning signs? Can he see the warning signs? Can she see the warning signs? The thing's head is this way, and they said if the dog turns their head, then the dog doesn't like to be hugged. If you're stressing it out. But can she see the warning signs? Can she see the warning signs? Hugs are dangerous. They're saying we got to look for warning signs. When you're hugging your worthless mutt, or you allow your child to hug a worthless mutt, look for warning signs. This person's head, the child's head is on the dog, facing the other way. And the dog facing the other way. She can't see the warning signs. The adults in the back, I don't think they can see the dog too well. I don't think they can see the warning signs. So by the time this thing bites and attacks, it's too late. Can't see the warning signs that way. Your head's this way. I don't know. Can't really see the warning signs. Now you got two. Now this thing is, they said this is like a dominating behavior for these worthless mutts. But here we have two children. What's that saying? I'm between a rock and a hard place. This is what it looks like. All thing has to do is turn one way and bite. Someone's going to get attacked. This child cannot see the warning signs. Hugs are dangerous. And look at this, National Hug Your Dog Day. Didn't we just read that dogs don't like hugs? Don't hug your dog? But now they have a day where you hug your dog? This is dog culture free. They say one thing and they do the next. Not just one thing. They say multiple things, but do the next, and the next, and the next. There's no real structure here. There's a day of hugging your freaking dog. I hope I remember this. I hope I remember this. Anyways, I think you guys are getting the point. Hugs are dangerous because some of them, they can't see the warning signs when they're hugging these things. You can't see the warning signs. You can't see it. Dogs don't hug your dog. It hates it, but yet there is a day called National Hug Your Dog Day. What kind of who makes up a dumb day like this? Dog nuts hug their freaking dog nearly every day. Why do you need to have a day like this? It makes no sense. Makes no sense. And speaking of, dogs, they stated, dogs, they stated, we're going to try finding it if it's here. I cannot. Oh, here it is. To dogs, a hug is seen as very dominant behavior, yada, yada, yada. It feels like a stranger is trying to assert control over them. It can be quite stressful, especially if done by someone they're not familiar with. So, an example, a child, a baby. Get a newer baby, the child is always growing, always changing. And the baby and the toddler, they don't look exactly the same. They're not the ones initially feeding the thing. And the owners are feeding the dog. So again, the dog associate foods with hugs. You hug, I give you food, no bite. So here comes a baby that's now 4 years old, looks different, probably got a haircut, I don't know, hair is different, looks different to this worthless mutt, and decides one day to hug it just like this or like that, and the dog bites the child. I know we're going to have to blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. But children should not be hugging dogs. Because, like they say, it can be very stressful for people they're not familiar with. Here's like a person that is new to this world. They're always changing. They're new to the house. The dog doesn't know who the hell this child is. And this thing is in the house all of a sudden. And they're hugging this thing. And they didn't feed it. They didn't condition it. That child didn't train the dog. So the dog's going to look at the hug from this child as, deadly. As a threat. So what's going to happen? The dog's going to attack the child. And we're going to blame the victim, blame the owner, not the dog's fault. And then dog nutters will also say the dog is not trained properly. It's how you train it. But let's say these people really did train the dog really well. And the dog still attacked. It still attacks a child for hugging. Still the owner's fault all of a sudden. Still the owner's fault, still the victim's fault. Even if they get permission to hug the thing, still the owner's fault, still the victim's fault, not the dog's fault. Hope that makes sense. I really hope that makes sense. I think many attacks probably do happen because a child hugs the worthless mutt. Whether it's a relative child, family child, visiting neighbor child, whatever the case may be in their home, and again they're taught to hug dogs, or they just go and touch the dog or whatever. And then the dog doesn't know them. This child doesn't feed the dog. And what happens is the child attacks them. So children shouldn't be hugging the dog, period. They shouldn't be touching a dog. We shouldn't be teaching and encouraging people to touch dogs, period. Because they don't like hugs. They don't like hugs from unfamiliar people, so why encourage it? Why even encourage children to touch them when it can result in death? Why? Doesn't make any sense. And we have sites. You have the Kennel Club. This is the American Kennel Club. Probably one of the highest prestigious dog nut companies out there, saying dogs don't like hugs. And there is a National Hug Your Dog Day? At the same time, parents are still encouraging children to hug dogs and touch dogs, even though that dogs can bite and attack them and kill them. But we just still do it anyways. It's crazy. So what causes dog bites? This is from Canine Connection. Protecting possession, a location, a person, being hugged, stepped on, patted roughly, dog is elderly, has minimal patience, injured, sick, dog is from a herding line and will nip while trying to herd. Other examples: yawning when not tired, licking, scratching, biting paws, suddenly sniffing, wet dog, shake without being wet or dirty. Other warning signs: ears sideways, erect eared dogs, ears back and very rapid panting, half moon eyes, they look pleading, leaning away, tail tucked, tail low, only end wagging. So tail low and only end wagging. So don't they say dogs wag their tail because they're happy? So now they wag their tails because they're about to attack you now? They're warning you that they're about to attack? Yeah, again, this dog culture, it doesn't know what the hell they're saying. They just make up things as they go. They say dogs wag their tail because they're happy. But here we have dogs wagging their tails to warn people of an attack. Whether it's only end wagging doesn't matter. Their tail is wagging. We are taught that they wag their tails because they're happy. This dog is wagging their tail as a warning sign now? Which one is it? And yeah. So, but if you're hugging a dog like this, you can't see the warning signs. You can't see. All the thing has to do is force itself right to his neck, and he's done. Just like that. Just like that. Yes, this dog culture, it makes no sense. They have a National Hug Your Dog Day. And I didn't even know that till right now. I did not know that existed. I wasn't even looking for that. But boom. Dog nutters have a national Hug Your Dog Day. At the same time, they're saying dogs don't like hugs. Same time, they're saying warning signs your dog doesn't like hugs. It's confusing. It's just annoying. But anyways, I'm gonna end it there. Good to touch base on topics that I may or may not have touched base on, and to kind of keep repeating a few things over and over again, so these dog nutters can get it and understand and reflect on it. And maybe one day their dog nuttery will be over. They'll give up their dog to a fine. Okay, they'll give up their dog and become dog free. We're born dog free, mind you. We are born dog free. So we don't need dogs. We need people. We need food. We need water. We don't need dogs. Dogs need us. But we act as if dogs do anything for us. And they don't. They sit there doing absolutely nothing. They do nothing for themselves. Nothing. So many dogs need to be rescued over and over again. Over and over. I get it. It's a business. They're not going to stop rescuing dogs because it's a business. They stop rescuing dogs, the money goes. The money's gone. It's all business. Guarantee the people who are leading this dog industry, they probably don't even own dogs. They just know that these things are worthless, that they're money. And that's why there's so many dogs being rescued. Not just because they're worthless, but because it's money. It's all about the money. It's all about the money. That's why they rescue these things and they force it onto people. Because they know dogs are the worst. You take a real animal out of the wild and you shove it in your home, they'll get depressed. They'll die. Most of the time, they'll die. They'll just give up and die. But you take a dog in and you feed it, the thing is does well. The thing's fine. Because these things are worthless. They don't really have a habitat. They can't defend themselves. They can't survive. They're dumb. They are incompetent. They're lazy. They're dependent on people. I wouldn't even say they're dependent on people. I wouldn't say that. Unless you take in a dog and you force to live in your house, tell it when to eat, tell it when to sit, then I could say, hey, they're dependent on people. But like a stray dog, they're not dependent on people. They're just lazy. They're just worthless. They can't hunt. They just stick around in cities doing nothing. Nothing. And they'll have their worthless offspring in like rundown places, disgusting, dirty places. Well, real animals are having their offspring in clean and their habitat. Well, they're protecting, feeding their children, going out night and day, feeding their children, feeding their babies, feeding their offspring, trying to survive. But dogs, it's different. Totally different. Totally different. But anyway, this is another Worthless Mutts or the Dog Butcher. And remember, it's okay to hate dogs.